I've been so disconnected from the anime community lately that I haven't even realized some of my favorite manga have already been adapted. I guess watching anime is definitely not the trend anymore. That's Megami no Cafe Terrace, which shapes up to be one of the best harem series I've ever read. Surprisingly. You know, I had faith in it since Koji said he would give it his all and make this manga the culmination of everything he's done so far, but I did not expect it to turn out this good. It might actually become a staple for how to write a harem protagonist. That's how good this MC is. Definitely go read it, or add it to your plan to watch list, but Megami no Cafe is not what we're going to talk about today. That spot is reserved for My Home Hero. Now, I've talked about it briefly before in one of my videos, but I think it's time to give it the spotlight. Because if you're a fan of thrillers filled with twists and tension so oppressive that you might need an inhaler, then you have to check My Home Hero. You have to. We follow this guy, Tosu Tetsuo, a middle-aged dad who spends his free time writing mediocre detective stories. His daughter and only child Reika recently moved on her own to focus on university. Now every once in a while Tetsuo takes her out for dinner to check up on her. On one of these occasions he notices that his daughter hides a bunch of bruises on her face. After a bit of interrogation, he finds out that her boyfriend caused that, even though she denies it, which makes Tetsuo realize that his daughter could be in danger. And so it's time for a good old violation of privacy investigation. Tetsuo goes to inspect Reika's apartment to clear his suspicions, and while digging around, her boyfriend pops in. He quickly hides to not give the wrong impression, and overhears the boyfriend saying how he's going to kill Reika. To Tetsuo's surprise, this guy is associated with the Yakuza and is just using his daughter for money. To protect her, Tetsuo acts in the spur of the moment and kills that piece of shit boyfriend. Call it father instinct. From this point onwards, the story becomes a back and forth game of cat and mouse with the Yakuza. Tetsuo needs to protect his daughter and himself from the Yakuza while trying to commit the perfect crime. Get rid of the boyfriend's body without leaving a trace behind. He even pulls a pro-Light Yagami move and works with the anime to find himself. Kind of how Light worked with L to find Kira. And it's super interesting. The main character isn't a genius capable of dealing with any kind of situation. He doesn't have that supernatural deductive skill. He's a regular person, clever at times and sloppy at other times. You would think that following an average person wouldn't be all that exciting. After all, if he's not that smart, can he really surprise us? But what My Home Hero does is that it creates a genuine connection between Tetsuo and us, the viewers. His thinking, his reasoning, the questions he raises and the actions he takes could very well be mine and yours. If you had no fighting experience, how would you deal with someone way stronger and tougher than you? Aim for the balls. Hit him in the head with something. Don't put your guard up and try boxing the guy. It's very easy to understand why he does what he does and just as easy to empathize with him. He wants to protect his family and is forced to go to great lengths in order to do so. Even though he's in a very vulnerable position, he can't back down. The moment he stepped aside, his family is done for. And speaking of family, his wife is a real freaking gem. Let me just say that. A truly loyal person who soon becomes his partner in crime. And if you've seen Breaking Bad by any chance, then Ka-sen is the complete opposite of Skylar. Polar opposite. That should tell you everything you need to know about her. A very interesting layer to this series is that Tetsuo has been a mystery writer for a good part of his life. A mediocre one, all things considered, quite shitty and below average, but while his writing was garbage, his research has at least cemented some knowledge in his mind. As part of his book research, he learned how to theoretically dismember a body, how to dissolve one, which parts need to go where, you know, the good stuff that might come in handy when you kill your daughter's boyfriend. However, just because he knows those stuff and has to use some of them, it doesn't mean he's happy to go through with them. Dismembering a body is not something Tetsuo can do without that taking a toll on his mind. Nightmares, constant stress, paranoia all come down on Tetsuo without an invitation. Meltdowns don't come with an appointment, and his reactions are one notch on top of believable. They're just as good as the suspense aspect of the story. You're never quite sure if his plans are actually going to work the way he thinks. Each one of his actions comes with a heavy consequence that also brings another problem for him to try to deal with. The feeling of tension this series manages to bring is honestly fantastic. A brilliant game of cat and mouse that might even give Death Note a run for its money. Not the anime version though, unfortunately. You know, it's not that the production value is bad, I mean it's nothing to brag about. Tezuka Production clearly didn't plan on making My Home Hero their next precious baby. It's generic and a bit blunt, the pacing is shy of, disgusting, they are omitting important details, there's no emotion. Why? It's somewhat frustrating to imagine what this could have been if they let a bit of creativity to leak over it. They chose to use a fast pace on a series that was already fast paced. Come on man, please. Why adapt a manga if you're gonna half-ass it? Very sad. Anyway, it's not all grim, the series is still very good story-wise, which is kind of its main selling point. I would recommend, however, the manga, to be honest. Not to be that guy, but it is incomparably better. It also has this realistic art style that will put you right in the mood almost instantly. But whichever way you choose to experience it, don't sleep on My Home Hero. It's really one of the better thrillers out there. Wait a second. Megami no Cafe is made by the same studio? Well, fuck.